Hi and good evening. I will just give it a minute to see how many people join in. So, and anyone that does come on, if you can just pop in a comment, that would be great, so that I can see that I have some followers on, so I can see you all coming on now. That's great. Okay, so you are all very welcome to tonight's Instagram Live. This is the second in the series, and I will, over the next few weeks, be chatting to various experts and gurus in different areas of health and wellness. Tonight we're going to be covering the area of mindfulness and meditation, and I'm very excited that I'm going to be speaking with Siobhan McKenna from Perfect Health. Now, before we get started, for any of you who may not know me, who are new to my page, my name is Louisa Cooling and I am a nutrition and lifestyle coach. And I work with busy people who are looking to improve their health by making changes to diet and lifestyle so that they can feel more energized, improve sleep, stress, or get to a weight that feels right for them. And I do that by looking across the 4 pillars of health: nutrition, movement, sleep, and stress management. And these pillars are intimately related. And it's when we get a balance across these 4 pillars that we really start to notice an improvement and an uplift in our overall feelings of health and wellness. Stress management. Well, stress, the World Health Organization has cited it to be the epidemic of the 21st century. And really no surprise that the resurgence in the ancient practice of mindfulness and meditation has taken place. You know, we're all rushing around so much. We have a gazillion things going on. We are multitasking, and on top of that, we are dealing with COVID and lockdown too. So even if a person who never suffered from stress before, I think we're all feeling a little more anxious than we would have done. So that's why mindfulness and meditation is really, really good. And there is research out there to show that there are so many benefits from regular practice and building it in to our day. Everything from reducing stress and depression and anxiety to, heightening our ability to focus on things and creativity and improving sleep, reducing inflammation, improving heart health. The list just goes on. So, if there are particular things and health goals that you have that you're struggling with at the moment, it may be because there is a level of stress in your life that you're not dealing with. But by introducing simple daily practices, it really is possible to manage that stress and build up your stress resilience. So that's what we're going to be looking at this evening. Now, the aim of this evening is to discuss and to demystify what is meditation and what is mindfulness. Look at the benefits and then work out simple things that you can build into your daily life that will improve your overall feelings of wellness. And I would hope that at the end of the session that you will pick up 1 or 2 small things that you can build into your daily lives. Because no matter how small they are, if we build them in regularly and we repeat them consistently, they become habits. And those habits then become our new way of life. And that's what lends itself to improving our overall levels of health and wellness. So I am now going to get Perfect Health in, Siobhan McKenna, and hopefully she can join us. I'm just waiting for Siobhan to come on. There you are. I always take a little breath when the technology works. So that's fantastic. How are you? I actually can't hear you.
You can't hear me. Can you?
I can hear you now. I can hear you now. Siobhan. Yeah, I can hear you. How are you?
Great. I've been looking at a screen all day.
Yes.
But you're on the phone now, so you can hear me okay. Hello, everybody.
Siobhan, thank you so much for agreeing to do this evening. I'm really excited, and obviously you can introduce yourself, but for any of you, a lot of people may know you, Siobhan, as a meditation practitioner, but you've had a very colourful background, very exciting. You have a background in the rag trade, which you are now dipping into again.
Sure.
You are an author, And you trained with Deepak Chopra MD back in 2006, 2007 to become a meditation practitioner.
That's right.
Yeah, so I'd be really interested to find out what led you into the whole world of wellness and meditation.
Well, it's a funny one, Louisa, because I have a business background and I spent 20 years in the clothing trade. But I suppose for me, and it's different for everybody, for me, I always felt that there had to be a little bit more. And, I was always interested in the area of complementary health. But what really attracted me to Deepak Chopra was the fact that he's an endocrinologist. And he's originally from India, but he was working in the ER department in Boston. And he started to notice the correlation between trauma, hormones, and stress. And he started to delve deeper into it. And he then came up with the conclusion that our mind and body aren't just linked, but they are one. And I liked the science behind his philosophy. And he left medicine. He's still a registered doctor, but he's a full-time author. He's huge. He'd be the main person in the mind-body wellness field at this stage. And Deepak Chopra has taken him on, or not Deepak Chopra, Oprah Winfrey and himself do a great 21-day meditation challenge as well, which is free. And I would encourage anybody who's interested to check that out. There's lots of free resources now, which is great. But I think it's important for me to say I wasn't all Zen. I'm still not all Zen. I'm definitely not all Zen. I do come from a business background. So, I like the practicality of what works. As opposed to, I know sometimes people can think it's all yoga and peace and light, but it's not at all. It's about introducing it into your daily life and finding what works for you.
Yeah. So what is it? I know we use this term mindfulness and meditation, and we might use it interchangeably, and we throw it into conversations, and we talk about being mindful and being present and practicing meditation. But for, I suppose to avoid and to get rid of the lack of clarity that may be out there, how would you explain it? And is there a difference between mindfulness and meditation? And if so, what is it?
Okay, so just to keep it very simple, mindfulness is putting your attention on the present moment. And the big thing about mindfulness is letting go of judgment. Okay. So what happens is we have a lot of thoughts. We have 60 to 80,000 thoughts per day, and we're constantly judging, and generally judging ourselves quite harshly as well. So the key to mindfulness is not only just putting your awareness on the present moment, it's letting go of any judgment about that present moment. Now, meditation, there's a mindfulness meditation, and we'll go through a few things. I'll give a few examples, but meditation really is the formal practice of sitting down for your 20 to 30 minutes and, just taking that time to meditate. And the real purpose of meditation is to get to know yourself, and stress management and all the other health benefits that come with it are a positive side effect. So meditation would probably be more for somebody who feels that there's more to life. Maybe, I teach secular meditation, but, it does come from a lot of the ancient Eastern traditions, such as Buddhism and Hinduism. But it's definitely been adapted to the West. And there isn't any religion involved, unless you want there to be, of course. Okay. So does that explain the difference between the two? And what we'll be doing is a mindfulness meditation, and it's just how you can, so everything like going for a walk, along the seashore and taking your ear plugs out or pods out or whatever, and just listening to the sea and putting your attention on that moment for a few minutes is a form of meditation.
Okay.
But generally a formal meditation practice, and there is lots of different formal meditation practices. There's Zen meditation, there's Japa meditation, there's mantra meditation, it certainly goes beyond the scope of this evening.
I think for me, and it may be wrong, but mindfulness for me is about, as you said, it's about being present, and whatever you are doing it mindfully, whether that is brushing your teeth or painting your nails or having a conversation with somebody. It's about being present in that moment. And takes a little bit
and the thing about it is, anything you do repetitively, such as at the moment we're washing our hands a lot, that is a really good time to be mindful, because even the sound of the water running, the motion of your hands repetitively going. People hate it when I say this, but things like hoovering and sweeping the floor is the same thing. And it really is about letting go of judgment. So, it's amazing how, if rather than rushing through, say, sweeping the kitchen floor, if we can put our every attention on that act, it actually can be quite relaxing. Not that I particularly choose to do that, but the thing about it is accepting our life and where we're at the moment. And a great thing about mindfulness, and the better we get at doing that, is we train our brain to focus. So it's not just about stress reduction, because a wandering mind, if you daydream a lot, that's actually quite stressful, and it leads to anxiety. So a wandering mind is an anxious mind. So the better you get at focusing your mind, it has a ripple effect throughout the rest of your life. And really what it does is, and this is all scientifically proven, so the prefrontal cortex part of our brain is the part of our brain that makes reasonable decisions, calm decisions, conscious choice making. The amygdala, which is a small part of our brain, is about the size of a hazelnut, are responsible for our fight-flight response. Okay, so we can be in a constant fight-flight response. I think most people understand what fight-flight response is. It's, if you are being threatened, of course, you need the amygdala to, flood your body with hormones so that you can fight or run away from whatever the threat is. The problem is, we see, because we're looking at the news so much at the moment, if it wasn't, the pandemic, it was the US election, we just seem to be constantly plugged into the news. And the effect that has is our amygdala is not shutting off. So we, hear these horror stories and we're fearful, and we're flooding our body with all these stress hormones all the time. So what we need to do to counteract that is disconnect from the news, here and there. It doesn't matter if you hear it an hour later or you don't hear it at every hour of the day. But we also need to train this frontal part of our brain so that this becomes stronger. It's like any muscle in your body. The more you train it, it's, if you imagine if you were learning to play the piano, you'd hit a lot of bum notes in the beginning. But if you keep practicing and practicing, eventually, you do get the melody. So it takes a bit of practice. And, a lot of people say to me, I can't do it. And that's an affirmation in itself. If you say, I can't do it, you definitely won't be able to do it. So what I would say is give it a try. And the more you exercise this frontal lobe part of your brain, you start shrinking the amygdala, which is the part of your brain that's responsible for stress. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. It absolutely does. Because I like to see it as no matter what you do during the day. I mean, you did say at the beginning that meditation can be that form of sitting down for a half an hour and practicing. But to some people, people who have never tried it, or who have in fact tried it and felt it wasn't for them, that can sometimes, and I would include myself in that group as well, Siobhan, sometimes that can be a bit off-putting, because to think that I have to sit down for half an hour and practice some form of meditation may put me off. But what I like to say is that every little bit helps. And so I like to see it as a little bit of a light switch. So switching between the fight or flight and the rest and digest is just like flicking a switch. And as many times as you can flick that switch from fight or flight into rest and digest, that is going to benefit me. That's going to help build resilience to stress. So whatever form it takes. Now, I don't know how you feel about this, but I use the Calm app. For somebody who perhaps, I know using technology is probably not in keeping with the true practice of meditation. But if I am trying to improve my ability to manage stress and my stress resilience banks, I use the Calm app, and there's other guided meditation apps out there as well, because I feel that at least if I can get 10 minutes in of guided meditation at the beginning of the day, or maybe at the end of a working day before I walk back into family life in the kitchen, which is all of like 2 feet away, or last thing at night before I go to sleep, that will help me. So I'm just wondering what your thoughts are on those types of apps. Is it a good starting point for somebody who wants to dip their toe in the water?
I think so. I think it's great. I mean, I'm an experienced meditator. I've been meditating for 13 years. And yesterday I decided I personally use Insight Timer. I like it. I'm not familiar with Calm. I've heard good things about it. But with Insight Timer, you can go in, and maybe it's the same in Calm. You can choose 5, 10, 15 minutes. And then you can go morning meditation, anxiety, stress, so you can literally, pick and mix how much time you want to use or do, and what your particular goal is for that meditation. Yeah. I think, ultimately we want to disconnect from technology when we can, but it's certainly, I mean, you said it right there, Louisa, in that everything with mindfulness and meditation is about, it's like putting money in the bank, so if you can do, even we do you call it box breathing, I call it 16 seconds breathing. Even if you can do a breath, I mean, let's just try it now here, and see. Yeah. So the extended exhale breath, I won't do the 16 seconds, but so if you think, when you're anxious or, something happens, the first thing you do is take a short, sharp breath in, so that's like, that gets our anxiety up, our shoulders, the chances are up. The breath probably isn't going much further than our throat. Whereas when you feel relieved, you let out a sigh. So that actually changes the neural pathways in your brain. So let's just try this. So we'll breathe in for 3 and breathe out for 6. Okay. So I'll count this. I won't be able to do it because I can't count and breathe. So if you want to play along, so you're breathing in for 3, 2, 1, hold for a second. Now let it out for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now just breathe normally. Now that might have been a little bit difficult.
Is that out breath, Siobhan, through my nose or through my mouth? Or does it matter?
Generally through your nose, because your nose has the hairs in it to filter, Okay. So, but if you're a mouth breather and nose breathing is very difficult for you, everything should be comfortable. So if you're a mouth breather and breathing out through your nose, especially if you have a lot of congestion in your sinuses, is too difficult, maybe do it for a shorter time. It might be 2 and 4. So find what works for you. The main thing in all of this is comfort. because what feels good you'll come back to. So if you can't do six, a count to six out breaths in the beginning, don't worry about it. Breathe in for 2 and out for 3, and try and extend that out. And the very fact that you're putting your attention on doing that exhale means that you are getting some mindfulness benefits. And I think that's the whole key about it. People often say, I don't think I'm doing it right, or, oh, this is no good, I give up, So I think a lot of this has to be a little bit of trust as well. And a lot of it is we're so busy all the time. We're so plugged in. I know I have somebody close to me who's always on the go, up at 5 o'clock, and she works extremely hard. And when COVID hit and everything stopped, it was just like, oh my God, the mental chatter was too much to deal with. So she had to actually rush to fill that. And I think that's why a lot of people have difficulty with meditation, because we're nearly, we wear our busyness like a badge of honor. And we're so used to being plugged in and having to be places that it's too alien. So we jump up, and it's a matter of getting used to the feeling of it. But something as simple as breathing in for 2 and breathing out for 4, that is a mindfulness moment,
Right.
And don't underestimate that either.
Yeah. I think that's really important though as well. You talk about it as been training a muscle, and that is so true, because we could be sitting there and we can be trying to practice and our mind strays off. But I think, and you've said this because I've gone to your classes, it's at that point where you realize that you have wandered off, but you're bringing yourself back. That is like training the muscle, like you would do in the gym when you're lifting weights. You just have to practice, and you have to be kind to yourself. And,
That's,
yeah,
because mindfulness is letting go of judgment, and that's
yes,
being kind to yourself as well. And this is actually, for anybody who's a science buff out there, this is a thing called neuroplasticity. So your brain waves, or your neural pathways that may have you feeling stressed or anxious or constantly plugged in, are maybe just very strong, but they are neural pathways. So what you need to do is actually just build new pathways. So the same pathways that lead to anxiety, stress, and low mood can be contentment. And that's what people don't really, realize, that it's the same side, or it's the one coin, So it's just, I think I said this to you the other day, and I haven't got the story quite right. It's what you feed into. But basically, it's a Cherokee, one of these, the Cherokee grandfather was saying to his grandson, the grandson was saying about, grandfather, I really want to be kind and good, and I want to be calm, but I have these bad thoughts, and a lot of the time I feel angry or jealous, and I don't understand how I can be kind and unkind at the same time. And yet we all have what we call the shadow side. But the answer the grandfather gives is, the boy asks, so who is going to win? And the grandfather says, whichever wolf you feed, my son. And that's it. It's really coming back to practice. And if you're going to put your attention on the negativity, then that's going to grow. Whereas if you put your attention on the calm and the mindfulness, and it might be alien in the beginning, but the more you do it, the more natural it'll become, and that's what will get stronger, because what you put your attention on will flourish and grow, and what you take your attention away from will wither and die.
yeah.
But just remember these neural pathways. This is all stuff that's going on in your brain. It's not just it's not just about feeling good. It is actually, you can change your brain. Your brain, that's what we call it, neuroplasticity.
Yeah.
It's elastic like plastic.
Yeah. I love all of that, because I really do believe in it, and you know, that whole area of, you know, positivity and an attitude of gratitude, and you know, what I do and what I would say to my clients as well is, you know, at night time, it's a lovely thing to do when you're lying in bed, is to think of 3 things that you're grateful for. It forces you to, you know, maybe you've had a particularly rough day, but if you really, there's always things there, always positive things, no matter what it might be, that somebody made you a cup of tea, or one of your kids smiled at you, something happened, and it forces you to find those 3 things. And then what a lovely way to drift off to sleep, thinking of the positive things that happened in a day, and it just becomes a way of life, that you look for the positives. Things go wrong, you know, things happen, but you train yourself over time, because you're working this muscle. You train yourself to look for the
That's
positive.
it.
And it just
Absolutely.
becomes your way of life. And again, it is shrinking the amygdala, as you say, and growing and flexing the prefrontal cortex. So there is science beside it, or
Yeah.
behind it.
And you probably know it's impossible to be grateful and negative at the same time. It's physically impossible. So you know yourself, you know, who do you gravitate towards? You know, if somebody always finds the negative in everything, you find yourself drifting away from them, you know. And you don't want to be that person yourself either, you know. And I'm not a big believer in false positivity and everything is great when the world is falling down. But I really do. I think that the attitude of gratitude is extremely powerful. And I think it's worth reiterating, it's impossible to be grateful and negative at the same time, you know. And you're right, it's a lovely way to drift off to sleep. And, you know, and even waking up in the morning, Deepak would actually say, when you wake up in the morning, what are you grateful for? You know, and you know, this is from The Secret. Not everybody's a fan of The Secret, but you put one foot out of the bed and you say and you put the other foot out and you say thank you, and all the way going to the bathroom you say thank you, and it actually changes the trajectory of your day. Whereas if the first thing in the morning you wake up, sorry.
No, I was just, for anyone who's not
first thing in the morning
with,
and watch. Sorry, I think we've a time delay. Go on.
We have. I was just, for anyone who's not familiar with The Secret, and actually The Secret is a book by Rhonda Byrne, and coincidentally, this is the universe sending us things here, I am listening to that book on Audible at the moment, and I would highly recommend it, because again, it's just what you have said, Siobhan. It's how and why it is so important. You know, we get, I suppose, what we ask for, what we attract, and anything is possible. We just have to send it out to the universe. And so it's uncanny now that you've just mentioned that.
It's true though, you know, and what I love about it, Louisa, is every day new research is coming out that backs all of this up as well, you know. So if you're somebody who's really cynical, and it was funny, I remember at one stage I was teaching a big group, it was in a corporate setting, and this man came in, he said, I'm an atheist. And I said, it's okay, everything I teach is secular anyway, you know. And he's like, well, you know, it was just like, you're not going to get me type thing. And at the end of the weekend, he was the biggest fan, because, you know, I talked a lot about physics and the universe, and this is all science. So and then he said, okay, I'll give that mindfulness a go, so because you've shown me. And he was a big golfer, and I was saying, well, this will improve your golf game, you know, because you'll be training your focus. So therefore, if you can train your focus to relax your mind, then you can train it when you want to put that shot, you know. So I think the thing is, no matter what, where you're coming from, you know, that there is no doubt that you'll get some benefit from just giving it a go, you know, absolutely. And if you want to take it further, great. And, you know, you mentioned the apps there. Sorry, it's a bit shaky here. My hand's getting tired. You mentioned the apps there, and, you know, I would say whatever works. And what works for me, actually, is a combination. So sometimes I'll use an app. A lot of the time I use my breath, but I think the thing about it is to drop droplets into it throughout your day. It's a bit like, you know, the way you'd know more about this now, your metabolism. It's better to move regularly rather than just go for one long walk. So I would say the same in relation to mindfulness and meditation, that if you can really embrace the lifestyle, it will have much more health benefits to you and long-term benefits than just kind of doing it once and then running around the rest of the day harried. You know, does that make sense?
It absolutely does, and it is the same. It's that whole thing of neat exercise. It's that regular movement, and so what the research is showing is that while this HIIT exercise or 45 minutes in the gym, or we're not in gyms at the moment, but you know what I mean, that is beneficial. However, if we're sitting and sedentary for the rest of the day, then that undoes all of that good. So I can absolutely see why little droplets, as to use your wording, that creates ripples, and then we have a ripple effect, and it just grows. And that's why everything, you know, and I'm talking to people as well, it's about starting small and picking something even so small that you can't fail. Because when it's small, it's easy, it's doable, it's achievable. On a scale of 1 to 10, you're at number 10 in terms of your energy, and I can do it. And so you do it tomorrow, and it works. And it might only be a minute of mindful breathing tomorrow morning when you get up, or it might be something that you wake up and you very quickly appreciate 3 things, you know, that I've woken up, my heart is beating, and, you know, I have a beautiful house, or whatever it might be. And you do that then the next day and the day after that. And that is what becomes the habit. And that's what over time becomes our new way of life. And that really does improve and help our overall health and wellness. And I suppose it's that science-backed research. It is there. I mean, the one thing I love, Siobhan, is the benefit that meditation can give in terms of our sleep quality. Because one thing that's really close to my heart, well, not close to my heart, but brain health, okay, is very, very important to me. And so there is this process that takes place when we are in deep sleep that can only take place when we're in deep sleep, and that is autophagy. And I like to liken it to, you know, power hosing the patio. So we're clearing out the grout and the dirt and all the debris. And the same thing happens at nighttime when we go into a deep sleep. Those neural pathways are cleaned out of any types of waste or old proteins. And the buildup of those proteins, if they're not cleared out, can lead to the development of things like Alzheimer's and dementia. So to get into a deeper sleep, if that can be enhanced by what we do during the day, by mindfulness, by meditation, then I think, again, that's just another reason. I mean, the health benefits are, the list just goes on and on. It includes things like, you know, reducing inflammation, which obviously is so important at the moment, given the current pandemic, which is obviously linked to inflammation. So, it's just...
Absolutely. You know, and I think as well, and this is where, you know, with Deepak as well, I'm sure you've heard of the vagus nerve.
Yes.
You know, it's the longest nerve in the body that runs from your head, and it feeds into the stomach and the heart, and you can actually activate. So the vagus nerve is responsible for your relaxation, the rest and digest response that you mentioned there earlier. So with just a 16-second breath, which we'll do now, you activate your vagus nerve, which brings this rest and digest response. So that's in relation to your heart and your digestion. In relation to sleep, the more mindful you are, the chances are your circadian rhythms will be more in tune with nature, and circadian rhythms are extremely important for beneficial sleep as well. And if you do wake up during the night, you know, a simple body scan meditation or putting your attention on your breath is an easy way of floating back to sleep rather than struggling, tossing and turning and looking at the clock. You know, to do a guided meditation or put your awareness on your body and just breathe. Okay. I find when that happens, I float back to sleep fairly quickly, even if I have woken up.
So, okay, so maybe we could do, if anybody would like to try the Calm app, I can give them a 30-day free trial. They can just send me their email and I can send that on to them after this evening. That's no problem. And I would highly recommend that you try that. But you mentioned the body scan. And would you be able to talk us through that? Because it would be great if tomorrow people are able to try something that they haven't tried before, or even tonight, a body scan before they go to bed, will probably support better sleep for them.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. So will we get into that now?
Yes, that would be great.
Great. Okay. So what the main thing about meditation is to be comfortable. Okay. So wherever you are, just make sure that you are comfortable. It's okay. I've got dogs walking around in the back here. I don't know if you could hear them or not. Life goes on, so you don't have to be a monk living in a cave. But just put your awareness on your body now. And it's usually a good idea to let your eyes float closed, or certainly avert your gaze. And if you're sitting in a chair, uncross your legs and plant your feet on the ground. And if you're in bed or on a couch, it's still a good idea to have your feet planted. So maybe bring your knees up. It's just to feel that feeling of groundedness. And now what we'll do is we'll put our awareness on our breath. Now this is something that you can do at any time at your desk if you wake up at night, you know, if you're feeling a little bit anxious. So don't try and alter your breath in any way. Just notice and witness. It's breathing in and out. If it's comfortable to breathe through your nose, do. But if you need to breathe through your mouth, that's okay too. And just notice as you put your attention on your breath, how your breath slows down. And if you can, if you notice you're breathing into your chest, just see if you can get your breath to go a little bit deeper. See, can you breathe into your belly? And everything with mindfulness is letting go of judgment. So it doesn't matter if you're breathing in a shallow way. Just be mindful of your breath. And if you can breathe deeper, great. If not, that's okay too. And during this process, know that there will always be thoughts. Thoughts come and go. Thoughts are a normal part of life, and they will always be there. And now with your attention on your breathing, just feel your feet, the soles of your feet. What are they touching? Is there any tension? Wriggle your toes if that feels good. Now come up to your ankles. Our ankles are so delicate, yet they support our whole body from day to day. So just give thanks to your ankles, and if you need to circle them, if that releases tension, then do that. Such a delicate yet strong part of our body. And moving up to our calves. It may help to tense and release. If you notice any pain in your calves or tension, just breathe in. And on the out breath, release any tension you may be holding. And moving up to our knees. Again, if you have any pain or twitches, breathe in. And as you release the breath, breathe out the tension from this area. And move up to your thighs, tense and release. Again, breathing in as you tense, breathing out as you release. And now up to your glutes and your tailbone. Just feel what it's connecting to the chair. And just know that by putting your attention on this area of your body, you can ground yourself really quickly and easily. Always letting go of judgment. Breathe in and out. And now our stomach. Not only do we digest our food, we generally digest all our problems in this area. Often we may have lower back pain if we feel we're overloaded with our responsibility. So take a couple of moments here in this area. Give yourself gratitude for all you are digesting, be it emotionally or physically. Breathe into your lower back. And as you breathe out, release. And moving up to our solar plexus. This is often the seat of our desires, where our light should shine. If you've been dimming your light, maybe breathe into this area now. And release. And moving up to our heart. That's a good idea to roll your shoulders back, open up your heart. Our heart center, our kindness. I'll just add in a little bit of loving kindness here. So say to yourself, may I be safe. May I be happy, healthy. Live life with ease. In our heart, we often hold a lot of our emotions. So just give yourself credit for this now. And if you're feeling any tension or sadness in your heart, breathe in and release. We're going through a very difficult time in the world, where we're disconnected from family and friends, so we can connect our heart to their heart. So imagine a thread going from your heart. Visualize somebody you love that maybe you can't see at the moment, someone you care for, and wish them, may you be safe, may you be happy, may you be healthy, and live life with ease until I can see you again and we can connect. I breathe in and let that go. And coming up to your throat, this is your communication If you're feeling you can't communicate well at the moment, just breathe in and release. Now let any tension go from your jaw. If you're clenching your jaw, let it slacken. To your eyes, let them flow closed. Roll your shoulders back again. Bring your attention down your arms to your hands. And coming back up to your forehead. Visibly feel yourself relaxing your forehead. And just breathe in. So just as we finish this body scan, just take a long, slow, deep breath in. Gently let that go. Now open your eyes and take another long, slow, deep breath in. And gently release. Oh, that's it.
That was lovely, Siobhan. I think it's probably, we probably should have, you know, rated our level of stress or anxiety before we did that. I don't know where mine was, but certainly so much calmer and being able to do that even live on Instagram. I did totally lose myself in it.
Great.
I found myself checking
Well,
the odd time just because I know we have to kind of keep it
it's
under.
okay.
But it is so powerful. I hope people got something from that. I'm just going to check and see if there's any questions for you, Siobhan, because I know we covered quite a lot. So sorry now, I just want to see a lot of people have joined. If people have any questions that they would like to ask Siobhan, please do so. So Siobhan, what would you say if somebody wanted to dabble in it from tomorrow? We've spoken about, obviously, you know, even from tonight, the practice of gratitude, 3 things that people could think of today. That would be a start. And then in the morning, along with the secret, and that suggests, you know, you say thank you, thank you, thank you as you put your feet on the ground. That in itself is a great practice. And if they wanted to do the box breathing or the 16-second, whatever it might be, even a minute of that, I say to people when they click the kettle on in the morning, just to pause. And just while the kettle is boiling, just use that time to perhaps look out of the window, listen to the kettle boiling, and just focus on your in-breath and your out-breath. And if you did nothing else for the day, that in itself is going to really help you.
Yeah. I listen to the radio a lot, and I find when the Angelus comes on, even though it's, you know, the old Catholic thing, I actually use that as my moment to stop and breathe. And if you look, you know, if you're looking at it on the TV now, they do have people, they're going around their work day and they're just stopping and pausing. And I think that's a great way that we've brought things to modern life and all beliefs, whether there's a belief or not, you know. And I think anything that you can do, whether it's putting on the kettle or, you know, the Angelus comes on at midday, you know, just to remind yourself to stop and take that breath and just appreciate the moment, you know, because we spend a lot of our time rushing around. There's a lot of things vying for our attention, including this platform we're on now. And the better that we can get at connecting with ourselves, you know, we'll just probably just find that we're that little bit happier. We're exercising that frontal lobe and hopefully introducing a little bit of calm into our lives.
Yeah, and even you touched on that point, that rest and digest, you know, irrespective of whether you believe or not in a God, but, you know, grace before meals was a tradition that everyone, you know, used to say. And when you think about it, it was sitting around the table and it was just pausing for that minute or so before you would start eating, and it was calming everybody down. Of course, we were giving grace and thanks for the food that we were having, but it does, again, flick you from that fight or flight into rest and digest, and then allowing your digestive system, because when you're in fight or flight, nothing else matters. Your body is in a high state of alert, and its only job is to protect you. And so every other function is down regulated. So if you can flick off the fight or flight, get into rest and digest, and allow your digestive system do its job, and break down the food and absorb all the nutrients and the vitamins. It's just it is an old practice, but you can see the logic in it. So again, it's going back to your word, droplets, as much as you can do in your day
to add it in.
Add it in. I think that's
and you'll end up with a bank. That's the whole thing. You'll end up with the bank then of saving, deposits.
To help you on that rainy day if there is a situation that really causes which which we never want, but it does happen. So I think there doesn't seem to be any questions. I hope people have taken something from it. I think the thing is we covered a lot, but it's maybe just to reflect and just pick one thing that you might try tomorrow that's a little bit different, and see how it goes, and try it and repeat it for a week or 7 or 10 days or whatever it might be, and see, do you notice any improvement in whatever part of your health or life, whether it's stress or anxiety or sleep or mood or energy, whatever it might be. See, do you notice an improvement? And
I think so. And that body scan is a very simple thing to do yourself. So if you're having difficulty going to sleep, or you wake up during the night, I'd certainly encourage everybody to give it a go. It's really powerful.
Yeah. And Siobhan, I know you're not practicing at the moment, but in the new year you will be going back to doing classes, is that right?
So the plan is I've actually gone back to my roots as a clothing designer. I'm launching a new range of ladies accessories in the next couple of weeks. But I am going to be doing Zoom classes, and Perfect Health will still be here. I'm a huge believer in meditation. It's made massive differences in my life, and that's why it'll always be close to my heart. But I put it down to being a meditator, that I've had the courage and the faith in myself to take the leap and start a new business. Maybe I'm crazy, but sure, hey.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
I don't.
I wish you the very best of luck with that, Siobhan.
Thank you.
I've seen some of your products on Instagram. They look fantastic. The colours are amazing. So I've no doubt.
It's bringing all the wellness and the healing into the fabrics and clothes as well. But no, I'm actually going to be doing in the new year with Board Fáilte classes, and hopefully outdoors and things like that. And I would love for people to go walking on the cliffs of Howth and see 10 people lined up meditating, looking out over the Bailey. So
yeah, I'll be there.
Watch this space in 2021.
Yeah, that's great. Siobhan, thank you so much for taking the time to share your wisdom and your pearls and all your advice. And it's really, I'm really grateful. So
thanks a million for having me.
Yeah, there's some lovely comments. Everyone is really positive, so thank you. And I hope people enjoyed it. And I'll be back again next Wednesday at 8 o'clock as well. And I have another expert lined up, completely different to mindfulness and meditation, however, proved to be very interesting. So I hope you can join me then. So I'll say good night to everybody, and hope you have a great sleep after that beautiful meditation practice. Thanks, Siobhan. Bye, everybody.
Thanks a million. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.